right, I know I have a little bit of sun back over my head, but I tried to orient the shade as best as I could. So I hope you can all see me. Good morning. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga by the pool. It's a hot, high index heat day, but we're going to go through class here anyway outside. So let's come down to sit on our mat. And just settle in. Lengthen your spine. Inhale through the nose, draw your shoulders back. Exhale through the nose or mouth. And just keying into your breath. Allow it to be calming this morning. And at the same time, allow it to be energizing, preparing you for your practice today. Notice your posture. And notice that gentle engagement of your abdominals as you draw your navel slightly toward your backbone. And we'll start with a little stir the pot. So hands on the knees, we'll begin to shift the body to the right and then forward to the left and up. Just noticing how your low back feels today. I had some requests today to work a little bit on low back, so this is a nice release for the lumbar spine. Now we can kind of diagnose if we're feeling any pain or discomfort in that area of our body. Start to loosen it up. We'll take it one more time around this way, noticing your hips as well. And then pause, reverse. Our exhalation is as our body's coming forward. And we inhale to circle back around. You can let your side waist participate a little bit, kind of bending side to side. You can let your shoulders come into play here as well, maybe even your head and your neck. And we'll take one more circle around this way. And come right back up to a neutral spine. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, drop that right arm, take a side bend over, opening up the left side waist. And then at your own pace, just move from side to side. Enjoying that side stretch, feeling the rib cage expand. And you can either inhale as you come up and exhale into the side bend, or maybe try reversing that. Exhale as you come up and take a big breath in as you side stretch. Notice how that changes the feeling of the stretch into your midsection. Now, the next time we come to the right side stretch, pause here and then rotate your shoulder down and reach out across to the diagonal. Open back out, come up, side stretch left, rotate out to that diagonal. Inhale up. And one more time with that on each direction. A nice dynamic stretch for your entire back body. And last time to the left side and then rotate. Inhale up and relax your arms down. Now you can continue to do that movement again the way you are with crossed legs. If you'd like to try it with your legs extended out into a wide leg stretch, we'll start to warm up and stretch through the hamstrings. If this is uncomfortable, your knees can be bent any amount, or your legs can be in front of you. We'll inhale to reach to the right side bend, then reach across to the toe. Inhale back up, and other side. How are the hamstrings feeling today? Are they tight? Do they need a little extra attention? And tight hamstrings can contribute to low back pain, so it's really important that we keep them stretched out, elongated, lengthened. Let's take one more to each side, to the right, and to the left. Coming back to center, see if we can stretch forward any amount. Your hands can come to a block or to any other prop that you need, or reach out on the floor. And try not to curve your back and drop your chin. So keep that chin extended out so we have a nice neutral spine, and settle into that wide leg stretch. We'll be doing this stretch later in our practice today from a stand as well. And we'll take 2 more breaths. And walk those hands back in. Okay, find a child's pose. So pick which side of your mat's going to be the top of the mat. Open your knees kind of wide. Bring your big toes to touch. Sit your hips back any amount. And extend your fingertips out long toward the top of your mat. Get a nice stretch for your lats. And then we are going to walk both hands over to the right side. This is going to open up the left side ribs. And just hold this about 3 breaths. Really stretch through the side waist. Make sure it feels comfortable for your body. Making a little half moon shape through the torso. And then we'll walk both hands over to that left side. You're kind of pushing your ribs out toward the right. Just as generously as you feel comfortable. Make it feel good, not painful. And 2 more breaths. And walk yourself back to the center. Hold here 1 breath. Really reach both arms extended out in front of you. Exhale and pull yourself up. Bring your knees to parallel, your hands to parallel, and your feet aligned as well. And press your back up to the ceiling, round up into a cat. And we're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. Just opening up the entire back body. You're looking towards your knees. You're expanding your ribs as you breathe. And then we'll reverse this into cow. So very gently drop the belly down, lift the tailbone up, glide the chin forward, hold here a couple of breaths. And just notice if this feels okay, or if you're feeling any pinching in your lower back. If you are, then keep this more of a neutral position with your spine. Now you can do that one more time, coming up into cat, or tuck your toes under, lift up into a down dog, and drop your heels and breathe. You can also do a child's pose here if you prefer. And then as you come down, your option is a little upward facing dog. So you're going to keep your toes tucked under and just let your hips drop a little bit. See what feels okay for you. Your knees can come find the mat. A nice back bend. And then we'll take one more of each, either your child's pose or cat stretch, or your down dog coming up. Lots of choices for your body. And then coming down, either your cow pose or your upward dog or kneeling upward dog. Shoulders are down. Shoulder blades are also down and back. And then we'll press back to child's pose. Now let's stretch the right shoulder by just feeding that right arm underneath your body in your child's pose. So we're not twisting. It's not a thread the needle per se. It's just a child's pose with a shoulder stretch. So your forehead may or may not find the mat. It's okay if it doesn't. You could perhaps put a block under your forehead. I've got my visor under my forehead, keeping the sun out, but actually I'm in the shade, so I'm going to remove that. That feels better. And then we'll slide that right arm out, bring it back up toward the top of your mat, slide your left arm underneath your body, just gently. And we're stretching through the deltoid and the upper back, the rhomboids. The right arm's getting a nice lat stretch. One more breath. Slide that shoulder out. Walk your hands toward your knees. Come up nice and high on your knees. We are going to do a kneeling chair pose. This is really interesting. So we're going to sweep our arms up any amount. And then imagine you're standing on your feet, but you're going to sit your hips back so you're in chair. Then as you come up, bring your arms back behind you and expand through your chest. Sweep the arms forward, sit into chair. You can make this really small because sometimes it bothers the knees to sit back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sit into chair. We're working our quads and our glutes. 2 more repetitions. One more. Hold your chair pose. Press your palms at your heart. Turn your spine to the right. And if this is bothering your knees, you can come all the way up, not sit your bottom back, and turn your spine to the left. Come back to the center. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, swan dive into child's pose. So your arms come out and around, the hips go back, the hands find the mat. Inhale forward to kneeling plank and use your triceps and shoulders to lower yourself all the way down onto your mat. And we'll lift the left leg up off the mat a little bit, right from your hip, not by just bending your knee, and set it down. Lift your left leg. Now your hands can either remain here right next to your shoulders, or you can use your arms in opposition for a contralateral raise. So we'll take our arms out long toward the top of the mat, and as the left leg lifts, the right arm comes up. And then we switch. Whoops, I'm doing the opposite. So it's right leg, left arm, left leg, right arm. Strengthening our back body. One more on each side. And then lift the chest enough to slide the palms back underneath the shoulders. Keep your elbows close to your body. Press yourself back up and back to your child's pose. And we'll come up and take a nice big step forward with your right foot. So come way out into your kneeling lunge. Rise up and support your body. So we want to make sure this foot is at least under the knee, maybe forward of the knee. We want to drop down into that left hip flexor. Press your palms at your heart. Twist to the right toward that front leg. You can also bring your elbow across to brace for our twisting prayer lunge. A little bit of balance here with this exercise, as well as the stretch and the core work we're receiving. And then we'll come back to the center. Bring your hands down to the mat. We'll briefly stretch the right hamstring by dropping back, straightening out that leg. And just take this where it feels okay for you today. It's nice and toasty in the backyard, so I am feeling the muscles are stretching pretty easy. But if you're still kind of cold, You're just going to take it to wherever your range is today. So let's do that one more time on this leg. We'll shift forward into our kneeling lunge, rise up. You can prop yourself to find your balance. Press your palms at your heart. Start to turn to the right side and maybe bring that elbow across. See if you can look way over your right shoulder. If that's difficult for your balance, then you're going to look down toward the mat, up toward that right foot. That's going to be a little bit easier for your balance. And then we'll come back to the center. Reach the hands down, stretch that front leg. Pull your toes up so you feel the front of your shin kind of fire, and your calf is going to stretch here as well. One more breath here in our hamstring stretch, maybe sink a little deeper. And then we're going to have the opportunity to do this standing. So shift back into that front leg. Now you can stay on your knee, no worries. Or we'll tuck the back toe under, get your balance to come up. This is kind of hard on the grass in the backyard. Woo, it's a little tippy. Place the palms at your heart. Twist to the right. Option to bring that elbow across. Now another option with your standing lunge, if it feels a little better, is to put your left hand down on the ground and to stretch here. It's a wonderful twist as well. It's a little bit easier on your balance. And then we'll bring the hand down. You can either drop your knee again to the mat or keep both legs straight as we stretch our hamstring here. You might need your props to hold up your hands. Even a chair in front of you is really nice here to hold this stretch. And then two choices will either move into child's pose or downward dog. I like to bring my right hand around to the middle so that I can step my right foot back, finding either that down dog or child's pose. Hold a couple of breaths and just notice how your legs feel. The right leg is compared to the left. If you're in down dog, drop the knees down. I'll step the left foot forward into our kneeling lunge. So take your time to get there. Inch that foot forward as much as you need to. Come up here and support first. How does this right hip flexor feel? Oftentimes it's tighter on the right side. We'll press our palms together, twist to the left. Maybe bringing that right elbow across the thigh. We'll hold our twisting prayer lunge. And even as we did on that standing lunge, you can put your right hand down on the floor and rotate open. That's a great option. And we'll come back to center. Stretch back for that left hamstring. Go nice and slow. See where you can take it. I know some folks like to sit all the way back on their heel. My knees don't like that as much, so I like to stay up a little bit. Flexing that ankle is going to give you more stretch here. Ladies, are you sweating yet? We are sweating. I've got the sweat right on the top of my lip. Okay, let's do it again. Shift forward. Support yourself. Get your balance. You don't want to have your foot right in front of your back leg. So you want to have your feet separated a little bit so you have some stability. Twist to the left. Take that twisting prayer lunge, or you can bring your right hand down to the floor and reach up into that twist. So our goal here is to drop your right hip down toward the mat and to really open up that tight hip flexor. Tight hip flexors sometimes are a catalyst for low back pain. All right, let's come back to center. We'll stretch back again. The second time we go, we probably feel a little deeper stretch. which is kind of nice to do the stretch a second time and say, oh, that feels much better now. We breathe slow and deep. And your knee can be bent as much as you need. Okay, we have the opportunity to take this to our feet. So we'll shift forward. We tuck the back toes under to lift the knee up off the mat. And then you come up and find your balance and support. So try not to rush. Make sure you feel stable. Then press your palms at your heart. Rotate to the left. Option to bring that right elbow across, or even to set your hand down to a block or the mat and reach up. Wonderful opportunity for some balance here. If you're up off your knees, your back leg is really straight, firing the quad. All right, I just fell out of it, so let's come on out. And then either dropping your knee back down to the mat or keeping it up. We'll stretch through that hamstring. This is a modification of our pyramid pose here. If you're up off the back knee, drop your heel down toward the mat and enjoy a stretch in that back leg as well. So both feet are parallel. 2 more breaths. And you'll transition either to child's pose or your down dog, any way that feels best for your body. And just noticing now how your legs feel from the right side to the left. And then we'll lift our right leg up. So if you're in child's pose, go ahead and come up to down dog for a second. Step your right foot forward and move into a short stance warrior 1. So we're going to flatten the back foot to the mat and rise up. So I have my hips squared toward the front of the mat. If it feels comfortable, go ahead and reach your arms up. And then we will come into humble warrior today. So this involves a nice chest expansion. We'll reach the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, open up the chest. You can also hold your yoga strap behind your body. Option 1, you're just going to stay up and enjoy this stretch in this pose. Option 2, we'll start to bow forward with the upper body. So your head is dropping down toward your knee and the arms are lifting up any amount. This is a great opportunity to have a view of your back foot. Notice if you're rolling in on your arch, and I want you to push out to the outside edge of your foot so that you see your arch lift up a little bit. So we're not collapsing into the inside of your foot. And with the strength of that front leg, push down to send your body back up. Release the arms, stretch. And then we'll open out to warrior 2. So we turn to face the long edge of your mat. You can widen your stance a little bit. And then we'll bring the right hand down toward the thigh and take a side angle stretch. And really reach that left arm. Now there's a lot of things we can do with this left arm. It doesn't have to reach toward the ear. It doesn't have to reach even up to the ceiling. We can just put it on our hip or even drape it behind our back. I want you to do what feels comfortable on your left shoulder. If you want to work your abdominals more, then you're going to unweight this pose by taking your right hand off the knee and reaching it out. One more breath. Then pull your body up into reverse warrior, extending your gaze up. I see the trees just kind of twinkling. Not much of a breeze, just a nice one for us today in the backyard. So from here, we're going to cartwheel down to the mat with the hands. So it's just like we're doing a little cartwheel. The hands go down right and left. We step back into either child's pose or downward dog. Those of you that like your down dog on the chair, that's wonderful here. It also helps you move easily into your warrior one. All right, we'll take the left leg, extend it up a little bit, and take a big step forward, setting up for your short stance warrior one. The back foot turns at about 45 degrees. We come up, we square the hips to the short edge of the mat and maybe reach. I want you to tighten this back buttock muscle. Squeeze it and feel your hip flexor relaxing. All right, let's come into your chest expansion. So we'll interlace the hands. Now we always do this the same way, right? So once you get interlaced, switch the thumb that's on top. That feels goofy. So we're interlacing the opposite way we always do. Take your big stretch here for the chest. You can remain standing or very slowly start to hinge from your hips. You can keep this in a straight neutral back, or you can curve your back as you come down, keeping your abdominals drawn in. We're going to take a peek at our right foot. Make sure we're not collapsing and dropping the inside of the foot to the mat. So we're going to press out into the outside edge of the foot to lift the arch up. That connection with the foot and the mat is called the Pada Bandha, the foot lock. Then with the strength of your front leg, push down to draw yourself back up. Release the hands, stretch, and then open your body out to the long edge of your mat into your warrior two. My mat's kind of swiveling around a little bit. I know I'm not square to the camera. All right, let's take your side stretch. Now, it's not really a big deal how far you come down in your stretch. You just want to keep your shoulders stacked. So if you start to feel your body rotating like this, then pull that shoulder back, even if you have to come up a little bit more. We can take this arm toward the ear for a greater side body stretch. We can bring the hand to the hip or behind the back to release that shoulder. We can unweight the bottom arm. So this is a lot of core activation. Back leg is super straight. One more breath. Then pull your body back up right into your reverse warrior. Nice and stable. And we'll prepare to cartwheel the hands down to the mat. So you start with that left hand, then the right. Drop back to child's pose or down dog. Hold a couple of breaths. And then if you're in down dog, let's find child's pose. So we're all here together. We'll bring our hands next to the sides of our legs and hold a traditional balasana. And let your shoulders just droop down and relax your back. Relax your wrists, relax your shoulders. And then we'll transition to a seated position. We'll rise up. I'm going to turn around to face the camera to sit. And I like to sit up on a little blanket here to support the hips up a little. And we'll bring the feet directly out in front of us. So knees are bent a little bit. You might need your yoga strap for this. Mine's out of reach, but if you need it, have your yoga strap. So we're going to do a pose called heron. So it's a beautiful bird. Sometimes it stands on one leg. We know what that heron looks like. So envision that in your mind, a beautiful heron. We're going to pull our right knee up to the chest off the floor. Our body leans back a little bit. And then just notice if you can straighten your leg, and we'll straighten and bend it 3 or 4 times. And if you can't get it all the way straight, that's fine. Or if you want to place your yoga strap under the bottom of your foot so that you can straighten and bend it by using that strap, then we'll hold it straight. If you have a little bit more flexibility, you're going to pull the leg toward you. Your elbows are open out to the side. And let's take the ankle and flex and point. Good. Now at home, if your leg needs to be here, flexing and pointing, whatever you can do in your body for flexibility. Okay, hold that flex. We're going to release the right hand and turn open to the right. If you need to drop your leg down to the mat to do this, that's okay too. If you're really flexible, lift that leg high and try to bring it across the other knee a little bit. One more breath. Then come out of the twist. We'll release the foot to come down and find the mat. And then take this bent knee and allow it to open. This is our half butterfly. So we're going to relax this hip out to the side a little bit. Take a nice breath in, reach up, and stretch out toward the extended leg, perhaps using your yoga strap under the bottom of the foot. And let's hold this about 60 seconds. So all of you have been doing yoga with me for a really long time. So sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit of a broken record giving you all the options because you know what works best in your body. At the same time, sometimes I need those for my brain as well to think about some modifications to do. And since I'm going through my knee issue and definitely after coming back from knee replacement, I'm going to need to take some options as well. All right, as you come up, inhale, reach the arms, and exhale, lower down. Okay, so let's extend this knee in and bend both knees just a little bit out onto the mat. We'll bring the left knee up into the chest. You can hold behind the knee, behind the upper leg, lean back a little bit. And we'll start to straighten and bend this leg for our heron pose. So you get to decide where the leg is through that extension and flexion. You could even have your hands behind your back or seat on the mat if this helps for your core. And let's straighten that leg, hold it straight. If you're a little bit more flexible, you can pull it up toward your body. So I'm using the strength of my arms just to bring that flexibility in a little bit deeper. And if you're really tight in your hamstrings and if your knee's really bent, this is okay. It's still a great pose to do. You don't have to get your leg completely straight. Then we'll release the left hand and turn to the left side. Interesting for me. I feel such a deeper stretch on this side. I can get that arm back behind me a little bit more. It's always nice to kind of diagnose how your body's reacting to these poses on each side. Our body's a little bit different each time we come onto our mats. If you can, pull your leg across your body a little bit and feel that IT band start to stretch. And then we'll come back to the center out of the twist. Let that leg come all the way down to the mat. And we'll open out the right knee, pulling the sole of the foot to the inner thigh for half butterfly. Now it's really nice if you flex this foot up. It doesn't have to be, but it really activates all the muscles in this leg. We'll take a breath in. Exhale and fold with or without the use of your yoga strap. And we'll hold roughly a minute here. Just a little breeze just came through the backyard. Woo. Feels nice. Now, are you feeling this in your low back? If you are, bend your knee a little bit and maybe not stretch as far forward. So I don't want you to feel any pain or stress in your lower back here. Just a gentle release. Two more breaths. And then as you rise, the arms lift. Inhale and exhale. Bring those legs back to that start position again. So bend both knees in front of you a little bit. We are going to come into our boat pose. So your feet can be hips distance apart. You can squeeze them tight together if you like. Reach the arms out and just lean back a little bit with your body. From there, the sky is kind of the limit where you'd like to take this. So we can lift one foot off the mat. You can try that and then maybe lift the other. Or perhaps you can lift both feet off the mat. If you need to hold behind your legs, this is okay too. Just kind of brace those legs a little bit to help your core achieve your boat pose. If you can straighten your legs a little bit more, maybe check in and see what happens there, or maybe the arms go up a little higher. And we'll hold your boat pose 3 more breaths. Then set your feet down. Allow both knees to open so we come into our full butterfly. Make sure you're sitting up on your sitting bones. So when we lean back in our boat, sometimes we rock behind the sitting bones. So bring yourself up so you're right on your ischial tuberosities. And then maybe we'll bring the forearms right to the knees so we can just allow a little bit of pressure outward. We can bring the hands to the ankles. We just want to avoid grabbing the feet and pulling ourselves toward the feet. And then see where you can go on your butterfly pose, just hinging forward a little bit. And this pose for me is number 1, a lower back stretch. I really feel it in my lumbar spine. I feel it in my inner thighs and hips as well, but it's predominantly in my low back. So that's what kind of limits where I'm going in this pose. And where you're feeling the deepest stretch is going to limit where you go in that pose as well. Let's hold 3 more breaths. And then rise back up, close those knees together. We'll transition down onto our backs. So get yourself comfortable. If you need a little pillow for the back of your head, make sure you have that available so that you have a neutral spine in your neck. We have just enough shade in the backyard, just enough cloud cover. This is going to be fine. So let's bring our feet hips distance apart. Walk those feet pretty close to your glutes to prepare for bridge. So we'll press into the feet, kind of tuck the tailbone under a little bit, roll yourself up any amount into your bridge. Feel the work already in the back of your legs, in your glutes, the butt muscles, a little bit in your quads. We're also bracing our core. And then roll yourself back down. Now this time, we'll bring the arms any amount above the head. Now if you can't bring them all the way to the floor, then I want you to find a position where your arms are up that you feel comfortable. And then press into the feet, curl the spine up, hold your bridge, and make sure that your chin isn't jammed up in your sternum. So we want to have the front of the neck to be long, allowing for a nice breath flow and not pinching the cervical spine. And we'll roll back down. Now bring the arms next to the side of the body, and we're going to move the arms as we lift the hips. So as you press up, the arms start to lift up off the mat. They come any amount over the head, and then we roll down and the arms come back next to the side of the body. You can also do this out to the side like a snow angel. So we start to open our arms out, and we bring them up and out and come down. If your shoulders are bothersome, just lift your arms a small amount up and float down. And 2 more. Any way you'd like to design this movement with the arms. Last one. And coming all the way down. We'll bring our right knee up toward our chest, flex the ankle, place it across the left thigh, and with your right hand, push your knee out just a little bit. We'll come into our figure 4 stretch. So we'll bring the knees up toward the chest. You can allow your bottom leg to kind of make this stretch for you by pushing your left leg toward you, giving you that stretch on the right hip. That way you can relax your arms on the mat, or you can reach through your legs, pull them toward you, either behind your left thigh or over the top of your left knee. Or you can come into cradle the baby. So with cradle the baby, we take the inside of your right elbow around the outside of your right knee, then the inside of your left elbow around your foot. You can lock your hands together, and then you can lay back. You're coming into basically a reclined pigeon. Oddly enough, my arms are too sweaty. That's not going to be an option for me today. And just let those hips relax and release. If you want, you can rock them a little bit from side to side. And when your legs go across to the left, you'll notice a little bit deeper stretch there. And we'll take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, drop the foot down, but keep the right ankle crossed on top of the left. And we're going to open out into a twist. So open the arms out like a T. The legs will go to the left. We're going to try to bring our right foot down to the floor or maybe to a prop that you have at home. And let's hold this twist for a few breaths. If this twist doesn't feel okay, you don't have to have the ankle across the thigh. You can stack your legs. Do any other option for your twist. What a beautiful sky today. Let's bring our knees back to the midline. Before we switch, uncross the ankle. Let both of your knees open into Supta Baddha Konasana. And just notice what you feel in this pose. And it's interesting because I'm feeling a deeper stretch in my right side. And I think that's because we were just stretching our hip on that side the opposite direction. I'm going to let that feeling kind of dissipate a little bit. And it's already starting to feel equal. So let's close those knees together. Bring your left knee towards you, flex your ankle, bring it across your right thigh. Use your left hand to kind of press your knee out a little bit. And then we'll bring those knees up to the chest, either using the right leg to push the left leg toward you so you can relax your arms, or reaching and grabbing that right leg, pull it toward you. And just choose the option where you can kind of relax the most and enjoy the stretch the most. We can also come into our cradle the baby. So my right or left elbow crease is going to wrap behind around my left knee, right elbow crease around the foot, and I'm going to extend the bottom leg out. And that is really tight for me today. So I'm going to come back to regular figure 4. And we can move it side to side. Two more breaths. And then we'll let the right foot find the mat. Keep the ankle crossed. Open the arms out to a comfortable position or maybe goal post. And drop the knees to the right until your left foot finds something to rest on. And breathe. And notice where you're feeling the lengthening in your body. Relax your jaw, the muscles in your forehead. Try not to squint your eyes. Just relax everything. Come back into the breath. All right, we'll pull those knees back to the midline. Uncross the ankle, let both knees open into our Baddha Konasana again. Just check in. Notice what you're feeling. I've still got more stretch in my right side, so I must be having a little bit of an issue there today. Just let your legs feel heavy. Stay in our pose here 2 more breaths. Then close those legs together. The last few weeks we've been focusing a little bit on ankle pumps in legs up the wall. So we'll bring our knees up, extend the legs up, and start to flex and point the ankles. You can do it one at a time, back and forth, or both at the same time. Your knees can be bent, they can be straight, you can be holding behind the legs. I just want them to be elevated. Because what we're doing here is we're bringing the blood from the legs, it gets kind of pooled there, and we're pumping those muscles to help the blood flow through a series of one-way valves that are in the veins. And this is going to bring the blood back toward the heart. If you have any swelling or edema or fluid in your legs or your feet, that's going to come back toward the heart to circulate. And also your lymphatic fluid is circulatory, so that gets stuck in the lower legs as well. So we're going to bring that back toward the heart, which helps and assists our immune system to fight disease and to keep us well. We've been doing a minimum of 30. I haven't been counting, but let's do 10 more ankle pumps on each foot. Starting to feel that in my shins. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your knees into your chest and open your knees a little bit so they're out toward your shoulders. And you can hold your knees right here, or you can grab your feet and take a little happy baby. And this is a wonderful release for your low back. Maybe just rock a little bit from side to side. And it's okay if you can't reach your feet. Maybe just grab right behind the back of your legs. And a couple more breaths here in your happy baby. And then we'll come to a comfortable position just for a couple of minutes of relaxation shavasana. So for you, maybe your feet are on the mat, your knees are bent, they can drop in toward each other. You can put your feet up on a chair. You can relax your legs all the way out for a traditional corpse pose. And just allow your body to feel heavy into your mat. Just imagine that you took a really heavy blanket right out of the dryer and you just laid it right over your body, almost a weighted blanket. And just feel it grounding your body into the earth. Feel supported by the earth. Feel swaddled and soothed by the blanket. Clear your thoughts. Rest your mind. Rest your emotions. And rest your body. Only focusing on your breathing. Start to make that ujjayi breath sound, a soft whisper in the back of your throat as you breathe. The ocean breath. Just slightly constricting the back of your throat. If your mind begins to wander, then count the breath. Inhaling 3, 2, 1. Pausing to hold. Exhaling 3, 2, 1. Pausing to hold. If you need more time and relaxation, there's no need to rush to come up. You can remain there as long as you'd like, as long as you desire, as long as you need. If you're ready to move, start to bend the knees to set the feet back onto the mat. We'll bring the arms just above the heart. And on an inhale, open them out to the side. And on an exhale, bring them one across the other and give yourself a little hug right across your chest. Notice which arm is on top. Then open back out, inhale. Take the other arm on top. Give yourself a hug on the mat. And then open the arms out. Inhale. Exhale, just bring them back to the center line and then decide which side you're going to roll on. I'm going to roll to my right side. So I'm going to bring my right hand up above my head a little bit. Roll over to that side and make a pillow for your head with that hand.